What to do, YouTube? I'm Caleb. Welcome to the Hothead Crew. Today I got a little something special for y'all, man. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on this video if you're new. Today we got JxmyHighroller. Luka Doncic is the worst defender in NBA history. Damn, Jimmy. That's how you feeling? You coming out looking like that? I mean, I might agree, but I ain't gonna say it. You know what I'm saying? It's well known. But let's see what Jimmy talking about in this video, man. Let's go and get into it.
Question. What do Trae Young, Jalen Brunson, Jordan Poole, Zach LaVine, and Jordan Clarkson have in common?
All buckets.
They're all
You about to say they don't play no defense. I'm already knowing.
guards. They're all good offensive players that can get you a bucket. They're all NBA vets. But there's one other thing that they all share. These 5 players are statistically the worst defenders in the entire NBA. At least according to Crafted Defensive Plus Minus. Now, I usually wouldn't go seeking out information like this, but I felt inclined to after the recent onslaught of criticism Luka Doncic has received for his defense. From what is said and what I've seen, I thought Luka would be near, if not at the very bottom of the worst defenders in the league.
Damn. Justin Edwards, you a cone out there? That's tough. Oh, we already know CJ down there. Cam Whitmore? That's disappointing. I see Corey Kispert, Julian Strawyer, Fears, the rookie. Shooter? That's crazy. I actually thought he was a solid defender. See Kuzma, no surprise there. RJ Barrett, that's tough. Barrett, shots thrown. DeMar DeRozan, no surprise there. I think he'd be lower. Shaden Sharp, Sharp, come on, man. You know you got the ability. Play some defense, man.
League.
Russ,
No,
that's tough.
he's not down there. According to this one metric, which isn't perfect,
I don't
but
see
is
this
one of
man
the
right
more
there. Y'all don't see
elaborate
that.
and
That's
extensive
invisible.
defensive metrics you can find, Luka Doncic is not the worst defender in the league. Among qualifying
Okay, this list got to be wrong here. I ain't believing it. Jaylen Brown, worse than Michael Porter Jr. In what world?
players, that title belongs to Jalen Brunson or
Fake
Trae Young.
stats.
But if he's not down there, he's got to be nearby. There's Booker, Zion, Banchero, Ant, LeBron. I'm seeing some pretty capable names here, and
LeBron
still no
James.
Luka. There's Maxey, Morant, D'Angelo Russell, higher than I would ever expect in my wildest dreams.
Now we all know D'Lo ain't played a lick of defense in his entire career. Does he even have a steal?
We are now well clear of the defensive liabilities, and still no Luka in sight.
This is
And
fake
that's
stats right
because
here,
out
man.
of
I
the
ain't believing it.
375 players who meet
And we seeing KD. KD been playing defense this season. Castle plays defense. You know what I'm saying? No Luka Doncic. I don't believe it.
minimum requirements this season, Luka Doncic ranks 169th on defense, which is in fact extremely average. He's not terrible. He's
Yeah, I believe in this stat right here, bro. I ain't going.
not a liability, and he isn't nearly the worst defender of all time.
I ain't believing it. Hey, you already know what's coming. W ad to the video.
Is it possible for a player to be so good on offense that they could be as bad as they want on defense?
I don't see why not. The rest of the team has to step up. If somebody out there averaging 40,
And it doesn't even matter. Scoring and playmaking and controlling the pace of a game on offense in the NBA are invaluable qualities. It's the one trait every great player, almost without exception, has in common. But
Everybody
what about
has
the
to
other
try,
side
though.
of the ball? Defense wins
Give me
championships.
that.
This has been proven
Blocked
time
by
and
James,
time again.
blocked by
But can a
Giannis.
one-way superstar tilt the scale so much that he doesn't need to be a two-way player to win? In the wake of the Lakers' recent slump, many fans point towards Luka Doncic and his terrible defense as a major factor for the team's struggles. The effort being so non-existent at times that some fans have even called him the worst defender in the league's history, and that a team with a player so one-sided will never find any meaningful success. Luka's defenders, on the other hand, know that he's never been a two-way player. He's an
Oh
offensive
my
maestro.
goodness. Sengun catching strays.
Defenders, on the
Oh
other
my
hand,
goodness.
know that he's never been a
He
two-way
broke his
player.
knees.
He's
That's tough.
an offensive maestro. What he lacks on defense, he makes up for and more with his offense. Or at least that's been the theory on Luka's game and his value throughout his entire career. But is this actually the case? Well, I think it's worth asking, is Luka actually bad on defense?
All right, my personal opinion on Luka Doncic and his two-way play. I think he's a little bit better than people give him credit for on defense. He is. I admit that. Watching him, for like the past 8 years now. I think he's a little bit better than people give him credit for. He has the ability. It's just whether or not he's trying or not. And you can clearly tell when he's trying. See, it takes effort to be bad on defense. And that's what we see from him sometimes.
The eye test would certainly say so,
Oh
but
my
sometimes
goodness,
our eyes
smack
can
him in the
deceive us.
face.
Defensive estimated plus minus has Luka in the 31st percentile league-wide in terms of defensive impact, well within the realm of defensive liability. When it comes to points allowed per 100, Luka is in the 44th percentile. His crafted defensive plus minus is actually above average, in the 63rd percentile league-wide, and according to ESPN Analytics, Luka is in the 51st percentile defensively. Turns out that, according to most metrics, Luka isn't a bad defender. He's actually average. But defense is notoriously tough to accurately measure. The vast disparity in rankings and results across these different metrics proves that we still haven't figured out how to quantify defense all that well. When one metric says you're worse than most and another says you're well above average, it's tough to tell which one is accurate.
Well, the truth is, you know what I'm saying, the NBA is a game of advantages. So you got to also factor in the fact that the team is always going at the other team's worst defender every single play as much as they can. So, and we all know Luka is going to be one of the worst defenders on his in the lineup every time he's playing. So they're going at him the most. So he's more than likely having to guard more people than anybody else at the same time.
But it does give us a decent snapshot of Luka's defensive impact, which is average. If we chart the top 100 players in the league this season according to their percentile among these catch-all offensive and defensive metrics, then we could get a good idea of who is great on offense, who is great on defense, and who is great on both ends. Up here are the defensive liability offensive juggernauts: Jalen Brunson, James Harden, Michael Porter Jr., Trae Young, Jamal Murray. Over here are
Anthony Edwards. Am I supposed to believe this one too?
the players who provide most of their value through defense without much offense: Gobert, Asar Thompson, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Stewart. And all the way up here are the best two-way players in the league: Giannis, Wemby, Chet, Derek White, Jalen Suggs, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who ranks in the 99th percentile on offense and the 91st percentile on defense. Arguably the best two-way player in the entire league. So where is Luka in all of this?
So why is Edwards all the way back here, bro? Edwards is one of the best two-way players in the league too.
Right here, in the 98th percentile on offense.
Better than Edwards on defense? I'm not believing this one, man. Jimmy,
and the 56th
your stats seem
percentile
a
on
little
defense,
bit flawed tonight,
which even
man.
when stacked up against the top 100 players in the league is still far from the worst. In fact, compared to other offensive superstars, Luka is actually a net positive on defense. Steph Curry ranks in the 97th percentile on offense, but only the 25th percentile on defense.
He's 40.
Mitchell, 99th on offense, 36th on defense. Austin Reeves, Luka's own teammate, 97th on offense and 27th on defense. Who could this be all the way over here as one of the best offensive players in the league?
See, this is cap. Edwards is better than every single person over here in defense, bro. There's no way he's all the way back here. It's cap.
League, but statistically a cone on defense. Oh,
like what?
It's Anthony Edwards.
It's bad. It's not cap. I mean, that's not facts right there.
What about this player? Great on offense, a negative on defense. Oh look, it's Jaylen Brown. Despite the reputation,
like, bro, nobody's believing that. Y'all, you, Jimmy, trying to sit here and tell me right now that Luka Doncic is better than Jaylen Brown and Anthony Edwards on defense, bro. That's cap.
He's built for himself, and defensive efforts that are at times completely inexcusable. By all accounts, Luka Doncic is not a bad defender. He's painfully average. This, however, has not stopped teams from hunting Luka just about every chance they get. So far this season, Luka ranks 7th in the league in defended field goal attempts. The
So I
next
told you.
closest
See, the difference, the thing is, he guards, like, you know what I'm saying, so many possessions. That's the thing. When you're guarding a lot of possessions, it's only right that you're, you know what I'm saying, average or below average defender. You get attacked every single play, and you averaging 35.
guard is Derek White, all the way at 22nd. As if staying tough and active on defense wasn't already difficult enough, Luka is defending twice as many shots every game as the average guard. Now, compared to the big men at the top of this list, Luka is relatively ineffective on defense. On average, his opponents are shooting 3.1% better from the field when he's guarding them. But compare Luka to other elite players that aren't tasked with anchoring a defense, and you'll find that he's a lot more effective on the ball than we're led to believe. More effective than players like Nikola Jokic, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, LaMelo Ball,
Kawhi Leonard, bro. This is a pure example that, you know what I'm saying, stats not going to ever tell the, stats ain't going to always tell the full story. Nobody's believing he's a better defender than Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi can be 60 years old, and he'll be a better defender than Luka Doncic.
Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, and 117 other players, to be exact. So far this season, when Luka is on the court, the Lakers give up 118.7 points per 100 possessions.
That's
when
terrible.
he's off the court, they give up 118 points per
That's
100
still terrible.
possessions. A difference that is negligible. Compare Luka's neutral impact on defense to the top 15 offensive generators in the league, the players who generate the most points per game through scoring and assists, and Luka is, you guessed it, average. As expected, the best offensive players in the league are usually not all that great on defense. The larger a player's offensive burden is, the less they're asked to do or even have the energy for on defense. According to Cleaning the Glass, among the 15 most impactful offensive players in the league, only 6 of them have teams that perform better on defense when they're on the court versus when they're not. With Luka right in the middle at 7th, and some of these teams completely struggling on defense when their star is on the court. The Timberwolves and Clippers are nearly 10 points worse on defense per 100 possessions with Ant and Harden on the floor. Jalen Brunson is literally the worst defender in the league, with the Knicks nearly 13 points worse on defense when he's on the floor. In a world where there are numerous players around the league that do far less on offense while also doing less on defense, Luka is one of a few players that gets heavily scrutinized for it. So how does a player who by every conceivable measure is merely average on defense gain this reputation of being not just a bad defender, but one of the worst defenders of all time?
You know what? These stats, I ain't gonna lie, they low-key pissing me off. Because, like, this is just not facts at all. Even Steph is a better defender than Luka Doncic is, bro. He is, even at the ripe age of 38. So I'm going to do this right here. Luka is not an average defender. He's below average. That's the simple truth. That's why he gets picked on so much, because we're looking past the stats. You know what I'm saying? Whatever those stats are telling you, they're cap. We're watching the games. We're watching the highlights. We're watching him play no defense. That's the truth. I'm still in your video, Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? This is my video now. I'm joking.
It's okay, Luka, to move your feet.
Oh my goodness. Elbowed him in the back of the dome. Jalen Duran. Why?
It's okay, Luka,
Why?
to move
This is offense these days.
your feet.
That man could have caught, bro. He could have caught CTE.
And help out. Well, what does he do? He just throws up his hand.
Anybody in the NBA and looking up the floor and throwing
See, like simple stuff like this, bro. You know the player is going to fake you out, Luka. You're Kyle Anderson on defense, bro. Slow-mo. You know you're jumping for that. We all know you're jumping for that, but you don't have to. You choose to. It's fake defense, bro.
in the NBA and looking up the floor and throwing ahead. Colin Gillespie.
I wasn't even gonna go in on him, bro. But it's the fact that those stats just capping out like that, bro. Easy blow by. Slam. Oh my goodness. Getting shifted by McCulloch. Bro, he just stood there. Didn't even, what was that? He having a staring contest mid-game. Blow by, bro. Liam McNeely. We'll never let nobody name Liam McNeely blow by me like that.
Oh my goodness. This guy is a whiner.
It's tough to make the case that a player isn't a bad defender when stuff like this happens on a regular basis. Luka getting blown by, feet look like they're stuck in mud, complaining about no calls every other possession and forcing his team to play 4-on-5 on the other end, gambling in passing lanes, missing assignments, but more than anything, straight up refusing to even make an effort on some possessions. One of the big reasons why I think Luka's lackluster
moves, bro.
to even make an effort on some possessions.
He moves like a snail. Look at this, bro.
He's
supposed to be in the best shape of his life. He's waddling side to side.
Reasons why I think Luka's lackluster defense has become the primary topic of conversation is because visually, he looks completely uninterested in even playing defense at times. He has the tools to be a good defender. Great size for his position, he's strong, quick hands, great IQ and court awareness, and yet he puts in just enough effort to be, at best, average. One of the more random but insightful metrics the NBA keeps track of is the average speed a player moves at throughout a game, both on offense and defense. And among the 324 players who average at least 15 minutes a game this season, take a wild guess at who falls at the bottom of the league when it comes to speed on defense.
Exactly.
If you said James Harden, well then kudos to you, that's a fantastic guess and you're right.
Dang.
But right above him, as the second slowest player in the entire league on
LeBron.
defense,
Up
is
there,
Luka
man.
Doncic, behind a
KD too.
41-year-old LeBron and a lumbering Joel Embiid with one good knee. Getting scored on or giving up an easy bucket is one thing. Refusing to even put in the effort to stop a bucket is another. The outrage for Luka's defense is not all about the results. No reasonable fan should expect Luka to be a lockdown defender. That's not his role. The outrage is in the fact that he doesn't even try. And if only he
So how
did.
can you tell me somebody that doesn't even try is average on defense? See, this is what's the word? This is my brain. Sorry. What's the word? It's cap. You know what I'm saying? Those stats, they don't make sense, bro. They don't.
He could be a good contributing defender. Catch Luka at the right time, and he looks like a versatile big body who can guard 1 through 4 with some of the best post defense you've ever seen. Catch him the other 70% of the time, and you'd think the guy has lead in his shoes. Per 36 has a metric called the hustle index that accounts for things like the number of box outs, charges drawn, contested shots, deflections, and other factors to measure a player's hustle throughout a game. Luka Doncic ranks 187th out of the 250 qualifying players. But Luka's lack of effort on defense may be just as overstated as his effectiveness on defense, because ranked right below him on the hustle index is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Zubats, and Giannis, and Cam Johnson, Lou Dort, Stephon Castle, and other players who clearly put in effort on the defensive end of the court. For every clip you see of Luka being a cone on defense, there's about 10 possessions they won't show you of him playing sound, high-energy
10 possessions of defense. This guy is averaging 40 minutes a game. 10 possessions. Congratulations, Luka.
disciplined defense. As much as we'd like to see the stars of our league not only have the ability, but also the drive to be elite on both ends of the floor, the reality is Luka's defensive mediocrity has more to do with his role on the court than it does his actual ability.
No, just try, bro. Just try. If you were averaging 34, if you were averaging the same numbers you're averaging this season on offense and just putting in a little bit more effort, not even a little bit, just put in some effort on defense, bro, you will be called a top 2A player in the league. You might be favored in the MVP. You know what I'm saying?
Or willingness to be elite on that side of the floor. In a perfect world, a team star player would be great on both ends. But in today's NBA, building around and relying on a one-way superstar may be less of a
sweat.
But in today's NBA, building around and
You
relying
out there
on
got a water park on your face, bro.
one-way superstar may be less of a choice and more of a necessity. If we consider a two-way star as a player who is in the 90th percentile of the league on both offense and defense, then there aren't 20 two-way stars in the league. There aren't 10 of them. There isn't even 5. There's 2. 2 players in the entire league that are true two-way stars. But what if we widen our scope of elite two-way players to at least the 80th percentile league-wide on both ends of the floor? Well, then there's still only 9 players who meet those requirements. 450 players in the NBA, 9 of them who you could consider to be great on both offense and defense, demanding that an offensive mastermind also
Gillespie. These stats are killing me today, Jimmy.
be more than just okay on defense shouldn't be too much to ask, but the best players in the NBA almost exclusively create their value through offense, not defense. And whether it's a lack of physical tools, effort, or by design, players who can give you both are extremely rare. Is Luka truly the worst defender of all time? No. Is he the worst defender in the league?
Yes.
Not even close.
What?
When he puts in the effort, he's actually a good defender. And when he doesn't, he's terrible. And contrary to the scathing narrative that is built around him, Luka's defense is somewhere in between these two extremes. Not great, not bad, but merely average. And just like every other defensively mediocre star in the NBA who doesn't receive nearly the amount of criticism he does, as long as he remains just okay on defense, what he brings on the offensive end almost always makes up for what he lacks defensively. But you don't have to take my word for it. Here are the top 100 players in the league, charted according to the number of points they generate on offense minus the points they give up on defense. So, for example, if a player creates 30 points a game through scoring and assists, but they give up 15 points on the defensive end, they would be a plus 15 on this chart. Unlike most net ratings, this gives us a look at a player's total impact based on individual performance and matchups, as opposed to the impact they had on their team's performance. And among these players, you'll find some great defenders: Chet Holmgren, Jalen Duren, Bam Adebayo, Derek White. But because of the inherent value of great offense, the closer you get to the top of this list, the more you'll begin to see the offensive-heavy players. Peyton Pritchard, MPJ, Banchero. They give up more than you like on defense, but their offense still makes them a large net positive in the end. Despite giving up 16 points a game on defense, Austin Reeves generates nearly 43 points a game, making him a plus 26.7. James Harden generates over 45 points a game and only gives up about 13.5 on defense. But all the way at the top are the players who create the largest surplus of points in the entire league. Nikola Jokic, who gives up the most points per game in the entire league, but is also the greatest offensive engine of all time. Cade Cunningham, who generates nearly 50 points a night while only giving up about 15. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has a sizable gap on everyone as the MVP frontrunner and one of the best two-way players in the league. Where does the liability himself, Luka Doncic, stack up in all of this?
I guess. So he averaging about 34, right? And 9 assists. That's a minimum 52 points. And then he probably giving up a minimum 20 a night. So I'm gonna guess about 33. He gonna be up. He gonna be like ratchet here. He gonna be over here somewhere.
He's right here.
Oh shit. I was wrong.
Creating so much offense that you'll take his average defense every single time.
Hey, that offense a killer, clearly. Hey, I mean, as long as you out here averaging 34-point triple doubles, who can really say anything at the end of the day? Defense matters, but you know what I'm saying, offense wins the game at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? W video about JxmyHighroller though, you know what I'm saying? I disagree with some of those stats, just me personally, you know what I'm saying? Just having the eye test that I have, you know what I'm saying? That's HCHK, but that's what I do over here on this channel. We dissect things. But, you know what I'm saying? W video as usual. Y'all enjoyed this reaction video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next, man. Roll to 2K.